What's up? This is Jordan Gray from Half Lit and DopelivenTV.
Hey, this your boy Don Ritchie representing the Midwest 219 Stand Up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Lamar Tate.
This is your girl, Monifa.
Hey, what up? It's your man Dave Hollister from Blackstreet.
You know what this is right here. This Trigger Tretch in the building.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy Jason Weaver. And whenever I'm back home in the Chi, I'm checking out Dope Living TV.
Hey, it's your girl, Adina Howard, and you're watching Dope Living TV, live with Greg Gray and the crew.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Greg Gray. This is Dope Living TV Live. Let me start off by saying the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliate. We got a good one for you today as well. I see my girl LaShata sitting up in the corner. Anyway, what's up? Unmute.
Why you mute my mic?
Because my finger hit it.
You tried to trick me.
No, I didn't.
You tried to trick me, y'all.
My finger hit it. Come on, man. What's up, Chris?
I do want to take a minute to say, to say rest in peace, Shanta. Today is the anniversary that we lost our very, very good friend, and she is still missed to this day. Yeah. This was a hard day last year when Chris gave us that information.
Yeah. But you know what?
I want to send prayers out to her family.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Tyrese and her brother. I forgot her brother's name, but yes, man, it's never good when we lose somebody that we care about and we love. But they're in a better place because this world is a mess. All right. Anyway, tonight, man, we doing part 2 of this TED Talk thing. All right. So McKenya Dilworth Smith, she's got the opportunity to host TED Talks. And what did you say TED? The TED means, Chris?
Technology, entertainment, and design.
All right. So she got a chance to bring those to our hometown. All of us are from, we live in different places, but we're from GI. And, and we had some, Gina, you was out there driving around with flags and cardboard in your car, wasn't you?
Yes, I was. There was a lot of people out there. I'm an introvert, and when I get in crowds, I'm not very comfortable in huge crowds, but the people were steady pouring in. But there were people on the streets that had negative things to say, though.
Well, it's always going to be that way. We got a bunch of positive people on here tonight, man. It's going to entertain us and give us some knowledge. We don't want to take away their moment for the TED Talk on Saturday. All right, October the 5th, 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, by the way. It's going to be at Indiana University. You guys will find your way around there. But we got 3 people here, man, tonight that are going to, I guess we got another little masterclass going on tonight, too, okay? So
not little, bro. Don't use that word, not little. That was a big masterclass.
I'm saying little because they can't give us everything in this little short hour, and we got 3 people, so it's gonna be hard, man. It's gonna be hard. We're gonna get it. We're gonna do it. And I feel really great today because there's one person on here that I've known for a while since she was young, and to see what she's done in this industry that I love so much. Number one, and number 2 is that she did it her way. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, so let's get started, man. First up, we got Mr. Earnest James. Ernie, what's up, bro?
Welcome, Ernest.
Hey, y'all, what's going on?
Everything's good, man. So you're used to this. You're a podcaster already, man, and he's an author as well, okay? And he's a speaker, and he's dedicated his life to inspiring and uplifting others, okay? We're going to talk about that in a minute while we bring the other people on, okay? We also have Miss Wilcher. Hey, Ivy.
Hello, welcome.
Hey.
Ivy is an educator and an advocate. She's a licensed special education teacher in Illinois and Indiana with over 8 years of classroom experience. You go, girl.
Woo.
Look at it. Go ahead, do that dance.
He's a vet.
We out
You
here
know?
in the trenches. We out here in the trenches.
You know. And this last one, man, like I said, she is so near and dear to my heart. I love this woman, man. I've known her since she was young, and to see what she's doing right now is amazing. Her name is LaShata Grayson. Hey, girl.
Oh, see, I would have called you LaShata.
Yeah.
Hey, don't let it get it like that, man. Anyway, she's an equity strategist. Okay, she's a public speaker. She's won many awards. Okay, and you know if you followed her, she's always working out. All right, you know, even when she relaxes, she's working out. Okay, and she has a full service consulting firm carrying the weight, and she's just doing so much amazing things. So I welcome all of you guys. These are TED Talkers for Saturday too. Welcome you guys to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
So we had three people on yesterday, and for me, I still need to understand how we can get the information that we need, and you guys don't have a lot of time to do it.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest part about being a TEDx speaker is because when you give it as something that you love and you gotta abbreviate that conversation and that idea, that's the most challenging thing. But I think all of us have been well trained, we were rehearsed, and we just all looking to share, our knowledge with Northwest Indiana and just to bring y'all in with some of our good ideas.
Yeah, I get that. And again, we don't want to tell everything tonight on this show because we want to make sure that crowd that comes in on Saturday gets a lot of it. Okay, but again, LaShata, now I know you got a lot of stuff that's going on with you as well as with your platform, but with all that you do, you got what? 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 10 minutes.
18.
I believe it's 18 total, but some of us, it depends. I think minimum 10, 12. I think one of the things is being concise. That is what we've learned over time. Like a lot of people, you tell a story, but what are the key things a part of the story, right? What are the key elements that might stick to someone that will resonate? The theme is centered around deferred, not denied. And so each one of us will be telling different elements and solving different problems. One of the things I've been speaking for a long period of time, and I'll speak for like an hour. I think the reason why I wanted to do this is because of the challenge to be concise and to be very direct on these are the things. We live in a generation now where you got TikTok. People are learning how to cook something in 30 seconds. And so I think to challenge speakers to not ramble, but just get straight to the point.
Right. I think that kind of sums that up. Ernest, you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. Been speaking for as long as I have. That's one of the things, like I said, a challenge, especially for a seasoned speaker, because you're used to going 30 minutes to an hour. It's like, okay, you got 10 minutes, and one of the trainings that we do is prepare a 2-minute speech, a 5-minute speech, and a 10-minute speech. So taking your 30 minutes and breaking it down so you can get to the key points in as little as 2 minutes and still be able to deliver enough power in that 2 minutes that still gives transformation to your audience. So we having 15 minutes is not bad. It's still is a challenge, to break it down and say, okay, what is the idea that I want to get that I want to present in this time period. But yeah, it's kind of give and take. Sometimes you have too much time and sometimes you don't have enough time. So you got to kind of train yourself to be able to fit in whichever box that they give you.
The trainers are being trained. The teachers are being taught. That's gotta be something. So Ivy, why don't you give us a little background about yourself, right?
So for me, I've been living here in Northwest Indiana for the past 13 years. Me and my husband moved here just shortly after getting married. But I'm born and raised in Illinois, but I've been here for the last 13. I've taught in Gary for 2 years. I've taught in Hammond
I've taught in Maryville, I've taught in Lowell. I kind of been teaching a little bit of everywhere. But what's unique about my experience is that I didn't start off growing up wanting to be a teacher. My background is in journalism. So I like to call myself, former journalist turned educator.
Mm.
In that transition, I just fell in love with the youth, educating the youth and doing everything I can to make sure that our young Black and brown children aren't the ones who are going to prison, not the ones that are not getting a diploma, who don't have access to resources. So for me, being an educator, I just want to decrease those numbers of young adults who making up cell block 56 or whatever the cell block number is. I don't want our youth there. And I feel like education is a tool and it's a resource and it's an opportunity that can keep our young adults from going to prison if it's done the right way. So that's me.
You're here.
I'm sorry, I'm up in mute, man. I'm a little sick today, but it makes sense. Okay, appreciate that. All right, Ernest, what about you, man?
Originally from Illinois, moved to Indiana when I was 25, I believe. I got married, moved to Indiana. Maryville, Indiana, became an associate minister in East Chicago, Indiana. Started a church in Gary, Indiana. So I've been in Indiana for the last several years. But similar to the same story, just grew up, was fortunate to grow up in a two-parent household, but yet understand the dynamic that I was in and the position that I was in. Because everyone didn't grow up in a two-parent household. And so that kind of touched me at a young age. And I always grew up knowing that I wanted to help those who didn't grow up in a two-parent household. So that's how I kind of got into the speaking role and mentorship and things of that. And long story short, got into being a fatherless daughter advocate after realizing that every woman I've ever been in a relationship with was a fatherless daughter. And so that actually began my journey into podcasting because people started asking me to be on their podcast. I eventually started my own podcast. Now I have 2 and 100 and some episodes later, and so just getting stepping outside of the church to get into the school space and also into organizations, doing workshops and speaking to the students is what I'm passionate about now. And so that's kind of my story.
That's what's up, man. And from what I'm told, because I don't know the two of you, that you guys are doing some great work, man, and really, really, really making a difference. But I know this one. I know her. All right. But I know her from when she was in high school. But the journey that she's taken, man, for me, I can only say for me, such an amazing journey. I'm so proud of her. LaShata, tell us your story.
Thank you. Thank you. Definitely been locked in for a long period of time. So really it started me being high school, middle school. I was kicked out. Well, I was going through some things in middle school, doing some things that I have no business doing. And my mother decided to put me in homeschool for about 2 years. That kind of changed the trajectory of my life. I had better friends. I went out to college, ended up being in a sorority, all of those things. And then it kind of led to me in education. I've been doing some form of education for about 10 years. So I was a special education teacher, and then I got my master's and went to the college sector. And so that's when I started to kind of figure out I have a voice in the ways in which I capture a room. Right before graduation, before I graduated my bachelor's, I was the keynote speaker for Black graduation. After that, I really realized that maybe I have something to say. And that something to say is always about marginalized identities or about people with different lived experiences, i.e. special education, learning disabilities, all those things. So kind of transitioning, I went to the college sector, worked for an educational technology company, and that's when I started to talk way more to a lot of college students about recruitment, about diversity work, about how do we treat people that learn differently, because I used to be a special education teacher. And then trickle down to I started my own consultant agency where I started to help organizations really show up for people that matter, i.e. Black women, i.e. how do we help college students with learning disabilities. During this time, I was really going through my own issues with unlearning some of the habits and behaviors with food and how I allow myself, to handle stressful situations. And so I lost about 60 pounds. as I was going through grad school and also as I was starting these businesses. And I realized that not only do I like educating people, I like to work out. And with that being said, good evening, hello. With that being said, I started an organization called Black Girls Who Lift, realizing that we have to lift as we climb, because the reality is it's what 1 out of 5 women that are clinically diagnosed with a mental health disorder, or that's the people that's 1 out of 5. We got like literally over 20 plus million Black women in the United States. And so we have so many people that are suffering in silence. And so I took that very personally to that initiative. There's so many women that struggle with food, we struggle with how to take care of themselves, whether your mom, etc. And so I started having events in Indianapolis and kind of took off from there. And literally it's been, every element has been back to lifting as we climb. And my philosophy in life is you cannot unpack the things that you are carrying unless you go backwards. And so that's simply what I do now. I work full time for a law fraternity called Phi Alpha Delta as the director of leadership and DEI initiatives. So I do equity strategy. I help people solve complex problems around complex issues, race, identity, all the not so sexy stuff. The fun stuff that I do, I help people. I help people in life just unpack a lot of things in the physical and mental space. I'm a certified level 1 CrossFit trainer. And so I help people, like I said, with weight, with food, all of those things, because going back to that girl that was homeschooled, or that girl that couldn't figure out what is it that she needed. I didn't know how to ask for help. I didn't know how to do all those things. And so it's kind of a full circle moment to be here back in my hometown, because I live in Indianapolis, and to being able to give a gift to this community. I think it's a gift, the messages that we are spreading. And so that's just me in a nutshell.
You just shared your whole experience, right?
I think it is a gift, though. I mean, because a lot of people are afraid. They get to a certain level, then they see that the successful part of the change in their life is coming, and then they retreat. For some reason, I don't know why people do that. They retreat as opposed to going forward and making sure it's manifested. Okay, how do you feel about that, Ivy? When you're out there speaking to people, you're changing lives, but what if there's some people that question your methods to doing this? I mean, how do you react to that?
Well, Greg, it's nothing new under the sun. So I feel like in some form or fashion, like what I'm presenting and what I'm trying to impart, it's been done before. And maybe my process may be foreign to that individual, but I have to move forward, because like I know what God has called me to do, and I feel like all of us have a calling on our life. And being an educator is beyond just teaching. You're mentoring, you're shepherding, you're consoling, you're nurturing. And for some of our young adults, you're their mother and their father. So I just feel like if we want to get things done in these schools, if we want to get things done in these alternative centers, we got to do something different. So if we want to continue doing things the same way we've been doing them, then we're not going to see no progress. Just like LaShata said, she had to retrain her body on how to eat well. And if she continued to eat like she's been eating, we'll see her on 300-pound life. At some point, we got to do something different, because we yielding the same results. I think they call that insanity. So at some point, we got to switch it up and do something different, because more and more young people are having children out of wedlock. More and more children are killing each other. They're going to jail. They're dying in jail. Mental health is on the rise. So we got to do something different. So that's what I would do individual. Like, we got to switch it up.
I get that. Great. Let me ask you something, Ernest. And I'm not trying to dominate the questions, but I'm curious, because number one, I didn't know about TED Talks. I heard the name TED Talks and it just went over my head. All right. And somebody said, Greg, you should do a TED Talk. And like I told these guys yesterday, I thought it was a Theodore talk. All right. TED is short for Theodore. So I think it's what it is. All right. But let me ask you something, Ernest. So you talk about healing and telling people to heal themselves. All right. And heal through pain, from your pain. Mm-hmm. Isn't it kind of hard if you're in pain? You're not thinking about healing right now. You kind of living in the pain. I mean, how do you get people to heal through the pain?
Well, first of all, before you can, you have to be able to address whatever that you're going through, right? So a lot of times, even like in AA meetings, the first thing you have to do is acknowledge that you're dealing with whatever it is that you're dealing with, right? And so my motto is I help people to deal, heal, and fulfill, to deal with your problems, to heal from the pain, and to fulfill your purpose, right? And so it's not until you address the things that you are dealing with by, first of all, acknowledging that you're dealing with. So many of us can't heal from the pain because we're not even willing to address the fact that we have pain, right?
Okay, let me interject there. Let me interject right there, okay?
Mhm.
Because again, it's hard to, if somebody in pain, and especially somebody trying to get them through this pain, they don't want to hear nobody coming at them saying, "Hey man, you got to get through this. You got to get through this. You got to get through." Because they're living in this right now. You're not. All right. How do you break that?
Well, you have to get to the point where you want healing. And that's an individual journey, right? And so one of the things that I speak on is going through my own battle with suicide ideations. You know what I'm saying? And so that's an internal battle that nobody knew I was going through at the time I was going through it. But I had to get to a point where I was like, okay, I'm ready to heal from this. That I started looking into, spaces that can help me to heal from it. So first of all, that person has to make a decision. They have to make the decision to live for themselves. They have to make a decision to want to get the healing. Once you make that decision that you want to be healed, that you want to be delivered from whatever you're going through, then the next steps is I ain't gonna say it's simple, but it's kind of laid out for you. Right? Yeah, because you made the decision. So now I realize, okay, I want to get help in in my body, right? I want to get myself in shape because I've been eating wrong. Okay, so the next steps. Let's get to a gym. Let's look for the diet that works for it. But we have to make the original step, which is coming to the decision ourselves that what, I'm tired of living how I've been living. I'm tired of going through what I've been going through. I'm tired of dealing with the pain that I've been dealing with. I'm going to make a decision today to do what I feel necessary in order to get myself out of that place. That's the first step. Then once you get past that first step, then all the other steps will kind of lay out for you. And so that's one of the things in any journey in life, to be successful in anything that we put ourselves to, whether it's a career, whether it's a family, whatever it is, the hardest step generally is that first step. Because it's the first step that's the unknown. And once you step into the unknown, then you'll start to be able to see all the steps that comes after that.
Okay, makes sense. It makes plenty sense. I'm still that guy that was, if I'm in pain, man, get away from me. I'm good. but
that's the thing that we do as men, and that's why also I'm as vocal as I am about even going through my depression and things like that, especially amongst men, because we have to be able to voice whatever it is that we're dealing with emotionally, mentally, especially amongst each other, and find a space for us to be vulnerable. And the easiest way to build a vulnerable space is to be vulnerable yourself. So I'm usually the one that started the conversation, like, hey, look, I admit that I've been going through this. I admit that I've dealt with this. I admit that I've dealt with depression, so that it makes it easier for the other men to open up, because we can't go through it by myself. I didn't get out of my space by myself when I was in that dark space, So, but once we start opening up and talking about it, then as men especially, we more open to receive it and to have the discussion with other men, and then we can all get the help that we need.
Self-awareness, man. Got to get there. LaShata, I know, like I said, I know the story from that point, but I don't know all the story until then. So, but and with any of you guys haven't just reached this pinnacle of success overnight. LaShata, how big was it, or how hard was it to get from point A to point B for you as you were going through your journey?
Yeah, I think it was very hard because it was a battle with myself, and it was a battle with, honestly, the system, right? And so for me, the system as it relates to the world and how my identity impacts how I show up. I had to really learn, in college, I went through identity development where my parents were not around. And so I had to figure out, what is my identity without my parents? What is my religion without my parents telling me to go to church? What is it that I really like to do when my parents are not around? Because everything was wrapped up in that behavior. And so I had to take some L's and also reflect on, why is it that I'm feeling the way I'm feeling? And also, I'm really big into that unlearning piece, realizing, who am I? Like, I know my mother might say that, oh, you don't need to cry, but LaShata, unlearning some stuff is like, no, I think crying helps me. And so really just going through different seasons in my life where I was figuring out more and more who I am. I tell people each assignment in life gets you closer and closer to your purpose. And I feel like all the assignments that I have, whether it's assignment of being kicked out of, middle school, whether it's an assignment of, hey, I pledged a sorority, but it took me so many years to graduate, whether it's assignment of like I didn't get multiple jobs after I graduated college. Each one of those things was a no for me. And I had to really reflect on how I react in those situations, and also how is the system designed for me as it relates to being a Black woman, as it relates to the rooms I walk in, as it relates on the habits and behaviors that I learned too that were kind of problematic. Like I said, we don't ask for help. So I had to kind of challenge that and kind of go through that. And also like, who are the people that are supporting me? And so I think to get to this moment where I'm at in my life, I was very self-aware. I had to become very self-aware. Emotional intelligence is very key. And also I had to realize, what does it look like to just show up for myself? The longest relationship I tell people you'll have is with yourself. And so I really had to take some time to work on that relationship.
And I'm gonna tell you,
I have to
man,
say,
I'm grinning a little bit because, like I said, I do know of her journey up to that point. And I can remember the last conversation you and I had, LaShata, where you were saying, I got to do something has to change. All right. And man, look at the change. Oh my God, it's amazing. I appreciate the fact that you, number one, allowed me to even have that conversation with you back then, and to see where it blossomed to. It's amazing. So, hey man, I'm proud of you. Very proud of you. Nobody else got nothing to say? I'm asking all these questions.
Oh.
Come
on. We wanted you to finish. You was on the roll, bro.
Y'all,
I want to say that all of you are very well spoken. You're very well spoken, and I can see how exciting Saturday is going to be with the TED Talks, because just sitting here, I feel like I'm in a TED Talk.
Exactly.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I might have to just put Ted up in the corner, man, and just make this our TED Talk that we did. Okay, I have to put it right up in the corner and say, hey, this TED Talk. But I don't want to take away from the experience that's going to happen Saturday. Okay, it's going to be Saturday, October the 5th. Now it says from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. There's like 100 people that's going to be talking, right? And they got 2 minutes apiece. No, I'm joking.
Wow.
I'm joking.
That's enough to say their and where they're from.
Got a song? Want to hit? Here it go.
Hey, how did you guys feel when you were asked to participate in a TED Talk? I don't know how many of you have done it before, but and you all are speakers, so I'm quite sure you're used to it. But TED Talk is a different kind of feeling, isn't it, Ivy?
Yeah, it's definitely it's an honor, because when I initially saw TEDx being held here in Gary, it was actually during the pandemic. And I was like, wow, it's so close to home, because I utilized the TED Talks in my classroom with students to bring a real world experience to certain issues or certain topics that we're discussing. I may bring in a TED Talk and have students take notes. So for me, it was one of those things that I put on my vision board. I was like, one day I'm going to do a TED Talk. And just so happened that some years went by. I saw some things on Facebook. I was doing some work in Gary, and I stumbled upon it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to apply. So I applied for it, and it was an application, went through with it. And for a while, I didn't hear anything back from McKeon. So I was like, oh, they probably picked somebody else, because it was a high caliber speakers who did it last, in the years past. We had some heavy hitters. So I was like, they had some heavy hitters. They probably didn't pick me. But she sent me an email back, and a couple months ago, we all came in on a Zoom, and she told us that over 300 people had applied, and she said it was difficult. So the people that you see here on this talk today, and who was on the talk with you on yesterday, we got filtered through a lot of applicants. So I'm telling you, awesome. It's just a leap of faith, because you never know what you can do until you do it. So it was just one of those things, I have something to say, and I wanted to represent GI. I'm not from GI, but when I worked in Gary these past 2 years, and just being in the community and working with the children and some of the adults and people who are from Gary, born and raised, it just hit different. As the kids would say, it had hit different. So I definitely wanted to I wanted to speak to my experience, Greg, and do the TED Talk and just be a part of the community. So,
well, I'm glad you shared that because I was really curious as to how the TED Talk speakers are chosen.
Right.
And you say they chose high caliber speakers previously, but they chose high profile speakers this time too.
She said they were heavy hitters, and I'm looking at the heavy hitters now, boy. What are you talking about?
I'm like, it's heavy hitters on here, and it was on here yesterday too.
Man, man, yesterday was something else too. And this, like I said, we try with this platform here, we try to make sure that people we tell people stories, because you can learn a lot from other people, whether you know it or not, and you can learn what they went through to get to where they're at. It's not an easy route to try to get to a monocle of success. It's not an easy route, okay? But you guys, man, I can't wait. Now, see, I'm going up there because I'm going to film you guys, all right? But I might have to bring somebody else with me so I can sit down and learn, because it's going to be a wealth of knowledge. It's going to be a huge networking opportunity. And I just want to make sure that, not only myself, but others get the full value of what you guys are getting ready to bring to the table. Ernest, how did it feel when you got chosen, man? I mean, they told you and they said, hey, man, Theodore, you're going to be on Theodore Talk. How did that feel?
I had a similar experience to Ivy, because I'm originally from Illinois, right, from the Chicago area. So when I started looking into doing a TED Talk, because of course, as a speaker, that's one of the things that's on your list. It's like, all right, you got to do one, at least one. You know what I'm saying? And so I started looking, into the different organizers. And then when Gary came up, I'm like, oh, I'm already in the area, because I'm in Hammond now. But like I said, I was we had a church in Gary, so I was already in the area. So it was like, all right, that's at home, And I started looking into it, and then when it came up that they had an event coming up, I'm like, oh, I gotta apply. And not only did I apply, but I told, some of the other speakers that I knew were like, hey, y'all need to apply, because it's right here down the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get no better than that. It's in your hometown to be able to go down there and to apply. And then also, like you said, there were so many applicants that applied, and then to get that yes, that out of all the hundreds of people that applied, they only chose 11. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then to be chosen to be one of that 11 is very it's a humbling experience, but it's also gratifying, because it's like, okay, that must mean, my message and what I'm bringing to the table and what I'm desiring to share with the world, resonate with those who was making the decisions of who get to speak and, who have to apply again. And so just to, again, out of hundreds of people, to be one of that chosen 11, Jesus told 12, saying it's 11 of us. So I think we close.
That's what's up. So I should tell you, let me ask you. So the other people here, Ernest and Ivy, they said that was on their list to do a TED Talk, and that's one of the pinnacles of what they're trying to do, what they're doing with their platforms themselves. Was that one of yours as well? Did you have TED Talk on your list?
Yes and no. So I think I saw the TEDx talk last year, and I saw it when it was too late. Like, it was here, they had already announced the speakers, and I wrote and said, like, hey, are you all, can I join? Like, as if I didn't know, like, you had to apply and do all these things. I was just like, last year, just, can I join? And it was like, well, the application is open, gave me the, the answer of, like, basically no, but like next year. And so I was like, okay. And then it came back around. Someone sent it to me to apply, and it was really during a time of my life where, like, I was just shooting my shot. I had got out of a bad situation with business. I had literally had to start job searching again. And so the theme stood out to me, honestly, deferred, not denied, because I felt like I was in that season of taking so many no's. And so I didn't really say like, oh, TED Talk, TEDx was on my list. I think it was just like something I thought that would be fun. And then it kind of came to me. I think now, like it's sinking in. I'm more of a I don't celebrate until the job is done type of girl. So it's hard for me to like take it in to be like, oh, you're doing this. And so many people are like living this moment. But I didn't realize it honestly until I was on here. You know, I am born and raised Gary. I went to Ivanhoe Elementary School. I went to Tolleson Middle School. I went to Thea Bowman Leadership Academy. And so like I am Gary through and through. And so to see, it's like to see my younger version of myself. You know, I got homeschooled for 2 years because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to. So to see the no that I got then to the yes that I have now, it's just a different experience. Yes to my voice. Yes to, you know, being in a space. Yes to actually creating spaces and, you know, having a story. I would have never thought my younger self in middle school that wasn't doing what she's supposed to do would be here. And so I think the TED Talk is great for me. And I think it's a staple, but I think for my own personal self, it's a testament to just, you know, God. And also those, what we are telling people about things just being deferred. Everything in my life has been deferred, but all, you know, came up into this moment. And so I'm just more excited to just be able to be in the space. It was so many people selected, and I don't really, people applied, and I don't take that lightly. So I'm really just taking it all in. I think I'm going through a season, not a season, a moment, some moments of like, this challenged me to look back at my life. This challenged me to really figure out some things about myself, you know, being told no so many times. This challenged me to be like, who are you to even be here and to appreciate that? So I think the TEDx was great, but I think the self-discovery for me during this journey was better.
Wow. Come on, LaShata, girl. What? That right there was inspiring, because my next question was how do you guys feel being inspirational leaders to people? I mean, it's got to sink in at some point that you guys are giving people hope. You know what I mean? You guys are giving people hope that they can do better, that they can, if you can do it, if they see another person, melanated person able to stand here, speak, and talk, then I can do it too. I mean, that's got to have some type of a groundswell inside of your heart for what you guys are doing, man. I think it's amazing. You know, I always tell people, you know, because we have a life coach that's a part of our team too. If I life coach you, man, your life gonna go wrong. I can't I can't do it.
At least he's truthful about it.
I can't, because I know what I've gone through as well. And LaShata, you said it well. I mean, you know, you got to sometimes appreciate the journey that you've gone through in order to appreciate where you're at now. And I think you guys are exemplary examples of going through it to get to it. That's the theme of this show, going through it to get to it. And you guys are doing it, man. So, Ernest, tell us about your initiative.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. I didn't hear you.
Then I'll pass you up. Then look, no, I'm joking. Tell us about your initiative, man. Tell us about what you're doing.
Oh, okay. So, you know, going back to what you said, you know, as being thought leaders, at least for me, this is my journey. Again, realizing at a young age that I was blessed to be raised in a two-parent household, you know, with my mom and my dad. One of the things that I always wanted to do was to give back. And so now as an adult, to be able to be a mentor and to be able to actually take out time with people and talk to people and be able to present different ideas to people to help them deal with whatever that they're dealing with, it really is a life lesson for me, you know, and a goal, even more so of a dream come true, should I say, you know. And my goal is to really get to the place where I can do all purpose and passion work. You know, I'm passionate and I'm purposeful about, you know, helping people in general, but definitely helping, you know, our youth and getting into the schools. And I'm a bricklayer by trade, so that's why I got the bricks behind me. You know, that's what I do for a living. But I really want to get, and I'm getting there, to the space where I'm straight speaking, whether it's in schools or whether it's on a podcast, but bringing that message of healing, of deliverance, of breakthrough, to our youth and to our adults, especially in this time period of mental health and mental challenges that we're having, to be able to let people know, okay, it's okay that you're dealing with it, because a lot of us are dealing with it. Like it was said earlier, there's nothing new under the sun. So whatever that I've dealt with, I know there's somebody else dealing with it. So if I can encourage them to say, hey, look, I made it through it, you can make it through it too. And then these are even the steps that I took to get through it. Then it again brings that factor to me that I just was able to help somebody else. So it's not even so much about me. I get more joy in watching the people that I help to overcome and to do, what it is that they were trying to do than I do with my own journey. I'm okay. But if I can help somebody else to be better, then that just makes me feel better.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Ivy.
So for me, in addition of being an educator, I also just shortly after the pandemic, I started a mentoring program called Next Scholar Up, where I'm focused on supporting administrators, teachers, and parents to nurture our young adults and give them the tools that they need to be successful at home, in school, and their community. So I'm really big on mentoring because when children leave school, they still need support. So I'm all about wraparound support and not just support the children, but the parents sometimes need some support as well. So for me, being able to be an entrepreneur, I'm dual role. So when I leave my 9 to 5, I'm coming home, I'm hosting webinars, I'm writing blogs, I'm networking within the community to see what real life experiences I can put on to support children who are interested in STEM careers, who just need a mentor, who need tutoring, what have you. So I'm just all about making sure that all children have what they need to be successful. So it don't just stop when I leave the classroom. It's beyond that. And I hope that the TED Talk will help me carry out that mission and bring in more support and more awareness that there are still children that need help, beyond school. Schools can't do it all. So we need to rally together as a community, like James said, and just show up for our young people.
That's right. That's right. That's a great initiative. Black Girls Who Lift, LaShata, tell us about that.
Yes, Black Girls Who Lift. We love a Black girl that's lifting. So it's Lift As We Climb initiative that I started in Indianapolis, Indiana. I got with some friends, some training friends, and we like to work out. It was during COVID, but we also like to raise money for causes. And so the first year we did it, we raised money for Black women in entrepreneurship to get them memberships into, some social groups, get them some support that they need. Next year, we did it. I was living in Springfield, Missouri. I raised money for our organization called the Rebound Foundation. I raised probably like $2,000 for CrossFit. Every event is a workout event, and the proceeds go towards a cause. And it was for women. The Rebound Foundation helps a lot of women that have been sexually assaulted, do not have a place to live. They have just shelters and homes for them. And so toiletries, all those things is what essentially that raised money for. This past one, we raised up to $1,000, and so we'll have probably another event because we want to give out a scholarship to someone in Gary, Indiana, that's a first generation college student. And so each time we have an event, it's a cause because we are lifting heavy weight, but also we're climbing and putting other people in different positions. And so it just started, like I said, based off me wanting to work out with people, and also realizing that there's not a lot of spaces that are available for body diversity. That means like you go to the gym, sometimes you see like a smaller woman, or you go to a workout class, a yoga class, or whatever, you don't see yourself. And so I wanted to create a space where women from all body types, shapes, and sizes feel that I can lift, I can do all those things. And a lot of research is showing that strength training is one of the best things women can do, as far as even in their 50s, even all those things. Like it is a different type of behavior, that a different style of training that I'm kind of opening up to the Black community for sure, and just how we taking better care of ourselves. So it's been fun. We have fun events. We have Pilates and Prosecco. We have workout events. Yeah, we do a lot of different fun stuff. But like I said, we give back. That's what it's about: getting healthy and giving back to our community.
That is what it's about, giving back. That's what the lady that's sitting above you, she has this platform called the Distinguished Authors Guild, and just like you, she's trying to get money up for a deserving college student who just needs some, need a help. Just seeing that somebody cares, take care of some incidentals, some. I'm quite sure you know about that. All of you guys know about it. Went to college, Sometimes we don't have the money for the food. Sometimes we don't have the money for pencils and pens and paper and this and that. Well, they don't use that no more. But I'm just showing my age. Don't laugh. Definitely. This is going to be a fantastic event, man. You guys are so inspired. I'm feeling great just listening to you guys in this short amount of time. I think I got a little bit more than what the TED Talk gonna give, but it's cool. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it.
We got more than 18 minutes.
Man, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna definitely take it. Chris, did you want to say anything before we get out of here? I say, Chris.
Yeah, I just really have a two-part question because a lot of things. I said, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
We hear you.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. No, I have a two-part question. A lot of people that do TED Talks, most of them write speeches. Do y'all write speeches, or do y'all just do bullet points and then compound off of those bullet points in your 8 to 10 to 12-minute speeches when you're up there talking?
Anybody can answer that.
So you do write a speech. You have to submit a speech because it has to be approved. I think it depends on the person's speaking style. So I will only speak for me. I did write a speech, but also I probably remember 70% of my speech, and some of the stuff as just a professional speaker that I have a flow and a cadence, and so it gets to the flow and the cadence. But for the most part, the speech that you submit is the speech that you're supposed to give. You shouldn't be like submitting a speech and then it's a totally different speech, because you have to submit slides and X, Y, and Z. So it's a process, but also sometimes we write very like we write in a paper. And so for me, I really write how I talk. Like I have to space it out. Like if you're gonna say girl, please say girl, please. Don't say so that's the challenging part, because you want to submit it like this artwork of like, oh, this is this outline speech, but it's like, how is it gonna flow the way you talk? If you pause, write pause. So yeah, I think for me and my style, it's a both. I submit the speech, of course, and then also I have bullet points in my mind so I can remember exactly what parts of the story I'm going to say.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that exactly what she said. It really depends on your style as a speaker. How you do it. So as a speaker myself, how I'm even coming up with a speech is I speak it first. Like I literally will record myself speaking on whatever it is, then go back and edit that speech to make it fit. Add in what I need to add in, if I need to add some points or whatever, to do it that way to make it meet the time period, whatever it is, the criteria. But I usually start off just speaking straight from my head and my heart, and then taking that as the core, and then add, whatever I need to add to it, and even, spacing it out. Like she said, definitely, especially when I was preaching back in my preaching days, you know what I'm saying? You write out your sermon. You got those high parts where you want to hit it real hard. You might put that in bold letters to remind yourself, okay, let me bring the energy with this. So it's that same thing when you're depending on your style of how you deliver. But definitely, I think any speaker should write out what it is that they're going to say. Now, you don't want to read it like a robot, like you're reading it, but you do want to have an idea of where you're going, when you're starting, where you're going to start at and where you want to end at, because the same journey that you're speaking is the same journey that the audience is hearing. So you need to be able to start them at one place and generally guide them to where you want them to end up. And you want that to be as seamless as possible.
Also, I want to say this too. I think I just want to be honest with this. A TED Talk versus speaking on actual stage is two types of styles too. So like the style that we have, we are in a time crunching time frame. And so you have to get to the point. But versus like if you're doing a workshop or if you're speaking as a keynote speaker, that's an hour. And so your style might be completely different than actually a speech. It could be images, right? Because we have PowerPoints as well. So me, I don't write everything that I'm going to say out, but I'm a bullet point type of person and a picture person. So what picture I'm going to say and basically how to get there. But these are two different type of styles as it relates to session that we as speakers do versus like a 10-minute this tight X, Y, and Z. So I just want to point.
Also, I
Well,
want
and the second part of this question. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. My fault.
Could I also add that with the
say.
TED Talk is not like you preaching a sermon or you teaching a lesson. You're presenting the idea. So some of it is that you're sharing your thoughts on an issue that you're compassionate about. So all of us here are sharing our idea. It might not be something that it might be new, or it might be a fresh take on something you already heard. So a lot of what you're going to hear on Saturday is original. This is all original thought from life experiences, from professional experiences. This everything you're getting it original. We're the OGs of everything that's being presented on Saturday.
Yeah, man.
You're not gonna hear none of what we're nowhere else. Y'all getting it first.
So
it sounds like a mental power.
It's crazy that you say that, because this basically goes into my second question. Like I said, it was a two-part question. The second part of the question is, do you use those just bullet points as a part of your lifestyle? So when you take the key bullet points that you have to use when you're in a time crunch, do you use those like when something's going on in your life and it's like a pro and con situation? Do you use how you write or how you use bullet points in your lifestyle that way too?
Are you asking about do they practice what they preach?
No, I'm not really practicing what they preach. It's just when you have a time constraint, you have to hit them with all the bullet points.
Sure.
When you go through something, you have to think on it and be like, okay, this was where I messed up here, 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 here. If you know where you messed up at. So when you're writing bullet points for time constraints, do you like use that in your personal life? Because I do when I write, and I still have a diary at 47 when I still write into it. You know what I'm saying? And I use bullet points of like my day of when I messed up here, I wasn't feeling it here. This made me happy here, that type of stuff. Do y'all do that too in like your personal life? Because I got it from writing speeches and doing bullet points also.
So for me, like I'm with you, Christopher. I still keep a diary. Like I've been writing a diary since I was 13. And actually, when I wrote my TED Talk, I went back to some of my original thoughts from when I was younger. I had to go, like LaShata said, I had to go back and revisit my younger me, because when you come to the talk Saturday, you're going to see that in my talk, I'm talking about past experiences and the beauty of having support to guide you through life experiences. So to answer your question, I would say yes, that some of the organization of the speech is bulleted. And yes, it's kind of a flow of my life now, because I still keep, a little track of what I'm going through so that I can kind of be self-aware, because a lot of times you don't know where you falling wrong or where you falling short, or how to articulate help if you're not keeping record. So I think like the questioning that you presented is valid, and I think that we all kind of maybe use that kind of style when we're living our daily lives as well.
Okay. All right, cool.
Hopefully that answered your question, Chris.
Well, for me, I don't really use that same style within my life. I use notes on my phone, but I think it depends on the situation, right? Like if I'm dealing with something that is high impactful, I don't think I'll use my notes. I depending on what it is, I might talk to my community, ask for advice. I might talk to my therapist and be like, okay, let's process it. But I do process. That is my how I write my speech and how I'm processing and challenging people to be reflective. I'm a reflective speaker. I do the same thing with my life. Yes, I am reflective. I'll take a minute. I might jot down some notes. I don't really journal. That's not my thing. But I will write down a thought that I might have within the time. Like if I'm on a plane, or if it's like Why did I do that? I think I do more of the heavy lifting when I'm actually in therapy or when I'm actually like talking to a group of people. That's more like, okay, I can see how that kind of happened. But I think my day-to-day life, no, it doesn't require me to like kind of follow the method that I use for speaking. I challenge people, but in my personal life, I challenge myself in a different type of way.
Gotcha.
Hey man, the title of the theme for the TEDx talk, and you guys been letting me say TED talk all day long without the X in it. All right, shame on y'all. TEDx talk.
Then you'll be thinking it's Theodore X.
It's Theodore X. Anyway, the theme is called Deferred, Not Denied. All right, and LaShata, Ivy, Earnest, man, we appreciate you guys coming through, hanging out with us, and giving us our preview
nuggets
on this Saturday. Okay?
Nuggets.
At Indiana University, man, 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock p.m. We need everybody that's going to come. We got people coming from out of town coming here to see these guys speak. So it's going to be an amazing event. It's going to be something that you guys will probably want to put on your calendars every time it comes through. And you want to make sure that you bring your, I don't want to say pencil and paper. Well, yeah, bring your pencil and paper. We're going to go old school and write down some notes, man, so that you can get inspired by these wonderful people, man. I appreciate you guys coming through.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, we all do. You guys are great. I knew it starting off. I'm like, I just want to sit back and suck it all up.
And I got to say this, LaShata, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Most definitely. Go ahead, Mo. I'm sorry.
I'm learning a lot. I mean, these last couple of days, I'm learning a lot about TED and TEDx. So, I mean, it just seems like different styles of presentation. One of the more important things that I did learn is that, it's like a mental, I guess you could say like a mental PowerPoint inside your brain, that you guys use, the method that you use so you can make the most impact with your, with your communication. I mean, again, I'm learning. So I'm on listen.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like I said, we're gonna film it, so it's gonna go on YouTube or whatever, or wherever it goes. I don't know what McKenya's gonna do with it. Shout out to McKenya Dilworth Smith. I don't know what she's gonna do with it, but I'm gonna make sure I got to do my thing when I film it. But again, it's gonna be distraction because I gotta listen to these speakers. Jeannie, you want to say something real quick?
Well, I just want to remind everyone that November 10th, we will be where? At Theater 47 for the Distinguished Authors Guild. Where do you get your tickets?
Chicago in Northwest Indiana. Get ready for an epic night to remember. We are honoring the past and awarding the future. The Distinguished Authors Guild presents its 5th annual Literary Award Show and VIP Gala. Sunday, November 10th at Theater 47, 350 Victory Drive in Park Forest, Illinois. Proceeds from ticket sales go towards scholarships for first-year creative writing college students. This is a black tie event. Purchase your tickets now at eventbrite.com, keyword Distinguished Authors Guild. For more information, call 219-742-4305. That's 219-742-4305. And remember, everything that glitters is gold.
Yes. And hopefully we can get some of the authors from the TED Talk to come out and hobnob with the authors that we are,
it's
celebrating
TEDx Talk
on November 10th. That's okay. It's still TED Talk.
Theodore,
it's not Theodore, though. It's definitely not Theodore.
That's all good. But
that's
again,
what it's not.
Again, it's going to be a great evening, great afternoon.
It
evening,
is.
and go and get inspired. Go and get just the feeling, just to be amongst people that are willing to give a portion of their life to you guys and to hopefully help you to continue your journey into happiness, your journey into weight loss, your journey into learning, your journey into just manifesting. All right. So
yeah.
Again,
I just want to say, I want to send a shout out to Gary, Indiana University for bringing something like this to the city. This is great to have here.
And to have people that, like I said, LaShata's from Gary, born and raised. To have people that are from our hometown. I mean, LaShata, I was on my panel, Everybody's from Gary. We may live in different places. Everybody from Gary. All right. We born and raised Gary. Yes, sir. We doing our thing. All right. So again, go and see these wonderful people, man. It's Saturday, October the 5th, 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock p.m. But I'm quite sure it's going to go over because it's going to be so much. It's going to be a groundswell of information, groundswell of inspiration. So go check them out. LaShata, thank you so much for coming through. Ivy, appreciate you. Ernest, man, can't wait to shake your hand, man, and say hello and get inspired by you guys. All right. This is Dope Living TV Live, man. We will see you guys Monday. I'm done for the week. It's over. All right. We got to go. All right. We'll holler, y'all. Peace.